Good morning, everyone. It's Sarah Spiker here. I just finished my workout and the morning routine, and then I got to spend about an hour or so on the phone with my soul sister, the amazing Diane Sykes. For those who don't know her, she's an amazing quantum physiologist. Check her out. Um, the conversation was so good, it was so deep, and I feel so inspired to bring to you this message and the experience because I know that I am not the only one who had this happening in my life and through the process of up leveling. This is gonna be this is gonna be something here. So for some reason, I have been experiencing this incredible insecurity around holding and bringing my big vision to life. And it's so funny because when I tap into it and I feel into it, my heart flutters. My soul knows it's like it's already done. Otherwise, I wouldn't even have the vision for it at all. But there was a part of it, the part of growing into the next level CEO, the next level leader, that brought up certain insecurities around fully expressing myself and having uncomfortable conversations and taking aligned action on a whole new level. And I noticed myself coming into the space where I was like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to push through it and I'm just going to take action and I'm going to reach out to 10 people, even though I'm scared, right? And my soul sister caught the vibration of my voice and she's like, does this really feel aligned? It's like, hell no. Of course it doesn't feel aligned. So her suggestion then was like, okay, you know what? Instead of reaching out, what about reaching up? And it was such a profound question and invitation, and it got me wondering. Like, you know how, for a fact, we know ourselves, we know how powerful leaders we are, we know that we are capable of not only holding this big vision, but bringing this vision to life when it comes to our own families, when it comes to birthing kids, when it comes to figuring out how to take care of those little children whose lives are depending on us, when it comes to holding our households together, when it comes to committing to a relationship, and we make this commitment and we make the promise that forever and for always, in sickness, in health, in good and bad, right? Because we have this vision and we are capable and willing and able to see it through and take it one step at a time. And yet, when it comes to our business babies, for some reason, which, by the way, entrepreneurship is a crash course in personal development, and personal development never ends. It more the money comes in, it just amplifies everything, and it just holds up a mirror on their whole different angles for us to grow into, to elevate, and to release the old stuff. And it was this releasing of the old stuff in taking care of the business baby, so to speak, that is filling us with insecurities. Can I really do this? Can I really express myself? Can I really say this? Can I really command that? What if I get turned down? What if they don't like me? What if I fuck it up? What if the team leaves? What if I am pursuing the path that everybody else has done and put in place, but I know in my soul it's not in alignment, but obviously somebody else must know more than I do, so I'm just going to trust that expert and I'm just going to blindly follow what they say because somehow they are further away, further down the road than I am, so obviously they must know something that I don't, and I will trust them. And we completely disconnect from our inner guidance, and we compartmentalize ourselves, and we become this little we put the steering wheel into the hands of our little girl inside who's experienced something in the past and she has created a story about herself that she is incapable of, that she is greedy for wanting more, that she is not good enough for not fitting a particular, standard when it comes to, I don't know, body or the way she speaks. I can go on for days just on those topics. And even though I turned out to be an international athlete, my body was never accepted. It was always something wrong with it, whether it was too tall, whether it was too short, whether it wasn't masculine enough, whether it was too masculine. There was always something with it which made me believe that I wasn't enough. It even came to the far when I totally disconnected myself, and I would justify the opportunities that came my way by saying, oh, it must be my height. Like, you know, like me and my height are something like two completely different entities. As business owner, also, I found myself in a situation when, I'd have to step up and be a leader, obviously, of a team. But I would still have this doubt, oh, well, my team is not as advanced as somebody else's, but we are not quite there yet, so I can't possibly say this, I can't possibly request that or demand that or set particular standards because I'm not quite there yet. Even in mentoring my clients, most of my clients, when they come to me, they are light years ahead of me when it comes to revenue. But because of the work that we do, revenue on a paper doesn't mean a shit because the lives are out of order. Their confidence is lacking. And those are the pieces that we're putting together and helping them with. And yet, I found myself oftentimes wondering, and I'm going to be brutally honest here, why would they possibly come to me? What could I possibly offer to them if they're so far away from me and so far ahead, right? The tricks that my mind was playing, and I know for a fact I'm not the only one when it comes to up leveling, there's always this insecurity. So now that I'm holding a vision for my multi-million-dollar business, I know it's done. It's right here. It's happening. The new level, new devil, as they say. Obviously that is coming up as well, and I found myself holding back, and I found myself censoring, and I found myself being reminded of all the times when I wanted to do what I thought needed to happen and not what I felt needed to happen. Oh, Burnett, thank you. Yeah, my pleasure. That's what we do as leaders. That's what we get to do. We get to go first, and we are far from perfect. The reason why I wanted to be so open also is looking back, those are the women that held hands down for me and pulled me up. Those who did not pretend to have it all together, because for a fact I know no one has it all together. And those are the women that I still look up to and I still choose to team up with and have them as my mentors, who are brutally honest about their shortcomings, about their struggles, about their insecurities. One of my mentors, a multimillionaire, she still has money shit coming up for her, and she's very honestly talking about it. And I'm like, oh, of course, we are just humans. And of course, on our journeys, we get to uncover that. But here's what I was tripping myself over, and another reason why I have surrounded myself with amazing, powerful leaders who have the willingness and who have the capacity and who have the ability to see and read between the lines, just like I do for my own clients. They did it for me. I found myself spinning in a cycle of, oh, I have to dig deeper. I have to uproot, literally pull out the roots of this particular story that was running, right? About not being enough, about not being safe to be me, not about being safe to be seen, not about being not being safe to be heard. But I found myself in a space like, wow, this is so interesting. Here we are digging, and digging some more, and I could feel my energy draining, and I could feel myself stalling, and I could feel myself being in this almost like vacuum when things were not happening, and yet obviously they were still happening. And this is kind of the work that's the intangible one, that is actually 90% of success depends on it. But sometimes we still guilt ourselves into thinking that this is not the actual work, that the only work that counts is the one where we're sitting behind a computer or we're reaching out, right? And we're having those conversations and we're actually doing physical work. Anyhow, long story short, I found myself in this space like, well, is it really helping to intentionally seek and go even deeper and being
going down the rabbit hole, as opposed to, oh, look, I found something, let me be with it now, let me identify it, now let me release it, and let me create a whole new story, a whole new context around this experience and move on, right? Um, so it was fascinating because, like so many of my clients and so many people in my circles, the ego so wanted to come up and say, you know what, this is what I do for a living. I should have known better. But this shooting ourselves is not really helping because, to be honest, you can be the best neurosurgeon in the world. You cannot operate on your own brain. You just can't. So the fact that we are so hard on ourselves is really showing that there's still a wound somewhere that we have been taught and indoctrinated into the paradigm that it's only by doing, by hustling, by grinding, by following a particular business model, by following the particular patterns of actions, that is going to get us to where we are called to and where we already know in our vision, when we already feel it in our heart, where our soul already knows it is done. It's just bringing it into a reality physically. So it was such an interesting reflection in a conversation with Diane when we were talking about motherhood. We both are mothers. And it's the same thing. For a long time, when you're contemplating, at least that was my experience, I don't know what yours was, but contemplating, there's a lot of fear of the unknown. Of course, no one knows what's going to happen once you decide to start a family. It was the scariest decision I had ever made, was to say, okay, let's give it a try. And not knowing how it's going to turn out, not the whole pregnancy, not the baby, not knowing the gender, not knowing what her personality would be, not knowing from today to tomorrow. It was just fully trusting that I would figure it out. And as moms, we have this baby now, we figure it out. But never in, I'm going to be grossly generalizing right now, and I'm aware that this is not everybody's experiences, and it's for some women, this is traumatic experience. But I'm going to grossly generalize right now and say, the moment you get this baby in your arms and you look into their eyes, something shifts. And this inner lioness isn't tamed. This mama bear comes out. And I'm not stopping at anything. Nothing will ever stop me from protecting this baby, from giving this baby the life it deserves, from caring for this baby, for helping this baby become their fully expressed, awesome being, and clearing the path and showing and guiding them, not in a way that they would fulfill our unfulfilled dreams, but in a way that we empower them to fulfill their own destiny. So, why is it then, again, I'm asking, when it comes to our business babies, that for some reason we're like, oh, I'm incapable. I can't possibly do this because of this past experience, and I was turned down here and I messed it up there, and I screwed it up here and I burnt out, right? And this person must know more than I do, and we give our power away. We give our power away, and for some reason, all of these insecurities are coming up. Could we just, again, have this mama bear come out? And could we just know that for whatever, at every moment where we are, every single experience we have been blessed with to go through, to live through, that we get to transcend, that we get to alchemize it, and we get to be fully in every single moment, because every single moment is exactly perfect. It's exactly the way it's meant to be. As we're moving forward, can we trust the process? And can we trust ourselves enough and our inner guidance that when we know that the action we're about to take is driven by the ego and the need to prove ourselves, the need to justify our worth, and it's totally out of the alignment, can we just trust and be with this, knowing that, you know what, If it's out of the alignment, then I'm going to choose something different, and it's going to be okay. It's going to be perfect because I trust the process and I trust myself enough to know that. I mean, this conversation could go for another 5 hours, for another 5 days, possibly. But like I said, I wanted to share this with you because it was coming up for me so strongly, and it's been keeping me going in circles for the past couple of days. And like, you know what? I know for a fact if I'm experiencing that, there's somebody out there who's going through it too and needs to hear it. So here we are, bearing it all. Um, so I do hope that, I know for myself for a fact, this is just a stage. It's like, oh, awesome, another stepping stone. I get to now step on and move forward. And instead of reaching out forcefully, reaching up. Thank you, Diane, for that. Um, so, yeah, my invitation to you is to first and foremost be gentle with yourself. Secondly, trust yourself. And thirdly, know that this, yes, it is very deep stuff. And this deep stuff is 90% of the work that actually has to happen. It's not about building the funnels. It's not about doing crazy outreach. It's not about pumping up the content. It's not about, hosting a gazillion of sales calls and running around like chicken with a head off, hosting a ton of events and doing and doing and doing and doing and doing. This busy work is a product of our own ego that has been indoctrinated into, first and foremost, our mental perception of who we are, and who we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to act and react in order to fit in and to fulfill the expectations of the society, of the others, right? Because if we are building $1 million business, we better get busy, right? So we are busy. And we also are busy as a distraction. So we don't have to do this deep work. And we can now remain in the same space. It's freaking uncomfortable, but it's safe, right? So it is this deep work that not only moves the needle, but opens the space for quantum leaping. And it creates the space for deep shifts. I actually had to think about how to enunciate it because it could go the other direction here with my accent. Deep shifts. There we go. So it is this deep work, and it is important for us to recognize that and to surround ourselves with those who, yes, they're far away from us and are not forcing us to walk down their paths, but are holding the space for us and our capacities and our capabilities of creating our own path. Because that's what it comes down to. When I look in my vision for my $1 million business, I don't see myself as, scratching the surface with a gazillion of products and programs and courses and having a team of 35 people running left and right and being so busy that I had to schedule 2 hours per week with my kids. My vision for a $1 million business, multi-million-dollar business, is actually so unconventional. Sometimes I'm even uncomfortable talking about it because the conventional wisdom would say that's not freaking possible. It's like a handful of clients, an assistant or two, my very closest team member, and having fun, enjoying it. Super simple, super easy, super agile. This is my vision, and I know it is possible because otherwise I wouldn't be given this vision to bring it into life. But yes, of course, my ego's tripping over sometimes, but, right? Anyhow, that's a whole new conversation for a whole other time. So I want to say thank you for spending this time with me today, and I want to say thank you for sharing this space here with me. And I hope this resonates, and I hope you found in this message exactly what you were looking for and exactly what you needed for either may it serves you as a kick in the ass, or may it serves you as a confirmation, or maybe a soothing balm for your soul when you might have been too harsh on yourselves and you have been guilting yourself and shaming yourself and shooting and pushing into all the wrong directions. I'm pretty sure that whatever you were looking for I'm pretty sure, yeah, I hope that you have found it. So thank you. I'm gonna now go because my two little ones are out here actually playing basketball in their jammies. So it's gonna be time for breakfast soon. And that's what we get to be. We get to be $1 million business builders one moment, and the next moment we play basketball with the kids, and then we go and make our breakfasts. So it's all good. That's what we do. We're phenomenal women who are switching the hats on the go without even thinking about it. So again, it comes natural to us, right? We figured it out. So no need to continuously doubting in ourselves when it comes to business and when it comes to building a life that we truly, truly, truly want and desire and deserve. There you have it. Just a thought. Take care.